Greetings, traveler.
Okay, so we have a huge patch. 26.6, start with hero power updates. Carriol got completely reworked. She now gives 2 friendly minions +1/+1, the same way it did before on tier 1. But now, every time you tier, you get to choose an enhancement to your hero power. Either 1 additional target for the hero power, you get +2 attack, or you get +2 health. I haven't done the math yet on this, on, you know, what's most efficient, if this is a lot better than the previous one, etc. But the obvious upside here is that you can do 2 attack or 2 health as well. So there might be a little bit of argument to play down units to target the hero power, if that makes sense. Because instead of making conviction spread to multiple minions, you can just make it give a lot of health or attack. That means you can maybe focus health on a trickster, focus attack on a divine shield. My first instinct is not crazy because when I'm doing the math, it's similar-ish to the amount of stats you're gaining before, but the flexibility might be a big deal. By the way, I love this, right? They're reworking heroes that people aren't playing, which is great. Some of this might be like a bad rework, but that's fine because if nobody's playing the hero anyway, you may as well try, you know? So I love that they're just reworking these guys. So Daryl, nobody was playing Daryl. Passive, when you buy a minion, give it a +1/+1 hat that passes to a friendly minion when sold. That means that whenever we buy a unit from the shop, it will have +1/+1. That already sounds cool. So you are getting an innate tempo advantage. But then when you sell that minion, the 1/1 gets salvaged. That looks much better early than it is late. However, if you can set up an engine with Bran, Tavern Tempest, doing that kind of stuff, you can farm a lot of hats for free. You know, the way how you want to do this is you get a golden Bran, bam, sell, buy, pop. If it's going to do like, pause, throw a hat, buy the minion, pause, throw a hat, buy the minion, then it's unplayable, right? We will see how this plays out, but that's always the bane of my existence when it comes to things that are good. If they have animations, then suddenly it's unplayable. Deathwing is now very different. It gives all minions +2 attack permanently. So that means your warband gets +2 attack every turn, but you are also buffing your opponent's board permanently. So this is crazy now, where you want to play against Deathwing early to get free attack on your units. And it will be very frustrating when you fight against someone that played against Deathwing and they have extra attack and you don't. Not a big fan of that, because that just creates a lot of frustration and like, okay, do I fight Deathwing? Yes or no? Blackthorn now has the hero power 1 gold, get 2 gems, and you can use this twice per turn. That looks really good because you can buff your gems, right? I will try this for sure. Obviously, this hero is only offered when Kibler are in the game, so you will always have a chance to enhance your gems. That's basically bacon, right? Like, this allows you to buy a bacon every turn if you want to. Is it better than Mukla since your opponents don't get anything? I don't think so, because your opponents can only get small bananas and you can get double big banana as well, right? Maybe it's the same, but they've changed Mukla anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Drekthar is now Avenge 2, not a huge change, but it's a buff. Edwin, give a minion +1/+1 for 1 gold, which is obviously unplayable, but it upgrades after you buy 4 minions. It's got a bit of a jailer-esque vibe to it. It starts small, and then you get the chance to buff a cleave or a deflectobot for big later in the game. I don't think this is going to be great at high MMR. Buying 4 minions still takes a while. And Illidan is now +2/+1 instead of +2. Not a huge change, just a small buff. Ini is now fewer minions, which is a buff, but it's not a big change. Mukla is, at the start of your turn, get 2 bananas, give everyone else 1. Ooh, wow. Mukla is now for free. Wow. Oh man, I want to try Mukla. Start of your turn, give 2 bananas, give everyone else 1. I love free. Oh, I do love free. Kurtrus, once per turn, after you buy 4 minions, discover a playing copy of one of them. I love how it's once per turn, but I guess for pirates, that makes sense. Buying 4 minions is tough. I'm not sure if this is actually executable. You don't buy 4 minions very often. You have to try and do that every turn. My instinct is this seems too awkward because it essentially means that you can't roll. You don't think you need to buy the 4 in 1 turn? I think you do. I think it's very much in line with how Kurtrus works as a hero in general. Onyxia summons a 3/1 instead of a 2/1. Oh, it's Avenge 3 instead of Avenge 4. Wow, that is a huge buff. Towerfang gives 2/1, but it doubles every 3 turns. I don't know about this. This still seems too slow, but we'll see, I guess. Ajara is now 25 attack instead of 30. I don't think that was the issue with Ajara. It's a buff, no doubt, but it just didn't pay to go Nagas when other cards were so OP. Whack Toggle now has no more limit on the number of minions she buffs. It's just the types. She could use that for sure. Rakanishu now buffs according to Tavern tier instead of the minions Tavern tier. That's also a buff, unless you tripled into a higher tier minion, but that's pretty specific. Tamsin now buffs all minions. That is a big buff. Still probably don't want to try this with anything else than Tarek, but sure. Avish now deals 2 and doubles every 3 turns. So it looks like this is a thing they looked at and they're like, you know what? Let's just go with doubling it instead of just regular +1 every turn. Turn 10, you deal 16, right? So that's when it gets annoying. Scam Guy has Snake Trap and Avenge removed. Okay, so it keeps Venom Strike. That's good. Oh god, you get this Diablo secret. That's so tilting. After an enemy minion does 3 or more damage, destroy it. Oh my god, it's like Mirror Force. Sakaretsu armor. It's your Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You've activated my trap card. Bam. That's annoying. That can obviously be played around, right? You'll have to just think about putting a minion first and not like it. I wonder, if the minion attacks and dies, does it consume the secret or not? Because that's a huge deal, right? If the minion has to survive, then that's a lot better. An enemy minion doesn't have to attack, it just needs to deal damage. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, you just attack into the taunt. Well, then again, people are already playing around Leroy, right? So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's like a meta break or anything, but it's definitely something that's on your mind. Armor updates, that's generally not too important. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. The stuff that got buffed now has less armor. That's basically it. Yeah, like Mukla went from 20 to 14. Recognition now is 15, so whatever. Here's the good part. New minions. Hungry Snapjaw. 4 attack, 2 health. After you summon a beast, gain 1 health permanently. So that's a little bit like Zillow Bones, where you can use like Rat Pack and buff it. However, summon also means that you can play it during the tavern phase, so it doesn't have to happen in combat. That just seems like a fun little thing to pick up early if you can, if you like Sewer Rat plus this thing, right? We'll have to see if Sewer Rat's still in. They did remove some minions. Cogwork, Copter, 2 attack, 1 health, Divine Shield. After a friendly minion loses Divine Shield, give it minion in your hand 1/1. Whoa, that's really good, is it not? It depends a little bit, because you kind of have to keep a card in your hand, but basically if you have 2 Divine Shields early, that's disgusting. A Noyo Troop. Oh, I hate it already. 3 attack, 6 health, Taunt, Divine Shield, Death Rattle, summon 3 Anoyotrons, basically. Okay, it has Taunt, which means that you're not summoning 3 most of the time, right? You're summoning 1 or 2, unless it's early, or you have a lot of taunts and stuff. That's basically Voidlord, yeah. Voidlord, but with Divine Shield, so synergy with the Copter. That seems really fucking annoying. Yep. If Venom hits into Divine Shield, it doesn't get consumed though, right? But if it hits into the 1 power from the Anoyotron, it would. Yeah, that seems really fucking annoying. Alright, following minions have been removed from the pool. Icky Imp, Puppot, Metal Tooth Leaper, Green Thumb, no! Scout, no! Frog, yes! No more Frog. Oh, wonderful. Tears of Joy. Gem Smuggler. Gem Smuggler's back. Oh, no. I'm thinking of the Gem Splitter. Gem Smuggler is the one that buffs. I look at Gem Smuggler and I think it's Splitter. And then I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't add Splitter back. And I'm like, no, it is back. That's how much I played with a Gem Smuggler, right? I don't know the name. So yeah, this card out. Okay, whatever. This Elise is out. That's a huge meta change. Dr. Boombox was not really a meta change. Blanchie is out. Whoa, okay, the horse being out is a huge deal. That really hits banana comps, like my god. Because banana is not removed right now. And then Omega Buster Kangaroo, that makes me think they have a different mech endgame, right? Otherwise you don't remove those 2 cards. Alright, Imprisoner's back, we've already seen that. Anoyotron is back, which makes sense because it gets spawned. Urel we've already seen, Spawn we've already seen. So this is a lot of tier 2 stuff now, which is nice for quests. And quests are going to be back, I've already seen that. Yeah, Gem Splitter is back. And I don't see any of the gem buff cards being removed, right? Jesus. All right, so for those of you who are saying like, what's a gem splitter? Why is this a problem? With gem splitter, it is incredibly common to farm 10 gems per turn. That's not the outlier, right? Like once you have a decent-ish gem splitter board, you get double gem splitter. If you have anything that regains divine shield, like Deflectobot or so, you will gain 10 gems in your hand, which is really good if your gems are adding more than 1/1. So this used to be a comp all on its own where you have Gem Splitter, Divine Shields, and Ground Shaker, right? That was just good. You just go Gem Splitter with Deflecto, farm gems in your hand, Ground Shaker, give your whole board a lot of attack. Now, if you have the Death Rattle Quill board that gives your gems attack already, that means that you can do Ground Shaker, but permanent, which is disgusting. It's permanent Ground Shaker. You can permanently Ground Shaker your Deflectobot now. Oh my god, that's insane. Yeah. All right, Briny Bootlegger. That's a really fun card. That's the tier 3 pirate that gives you a coin at the end of your turn if you have another pirate on the board. That's very fun. The cards that are leaving, I don't think I need to remind you too much on what they are. But for anyone who hasn't played with these cards, so Imprisoner is a tier 1 2/2 taunt that makes a 1/1. Annoyotron is a tier 1 taunt divine shield. Urel is a 1/5 on tier 2 that when it attacks, it buffs Menagerie +2/+1, but only for the combat. Spawn is a little bit weaker than Urel in that it only buffs 1/1, but it buffs everything, not just Menagerie. So when I say Menagerie, it's one of each type. Right, so Urel could buff 5 things if you have a very good spread. But Spawn will buff everything regardless. That's a Death Rattle, and Urel is an effect that goes off when you attack. So Urel can proc multiple times per turn. Spawn can only proc once, of course. Gem Splitter is a tier 3 Quillbore. It's a 2/4, and every time a Divine Shield gets procced on your side of the field, you get a gem in your hand. So if you have 2 of them on the board, it's extremely easy to get a full hand of gems. Like, it's very good. Briny Bootlegger, like I said, tier 3 4/4 Pirates. End of your turn, you get a coin, or was it start? It's end or start, doesn't matter too much. You get a coin per turn if you have another pirate on the board. Kiraji Harbinger is a pretty specific one. Tier 4 5/5. Whenever a taunt minion dies, buff the adjacent minions +2/2, or did they nerf it to 2/1? I'm not sure. But it buffs adjacent minions to taunts whenever taunts die. So this was very good when you had Acolyte of Cthulhu, which was a taunt that summoned the taunt. So it's the undead minion, basically. The 2/1 is very good with this. Nest Matron is a very fun card. That's a tier 4 3/5 that every time like Avenge 3, I think? Yeah, every time 3 minions die, you get a battle cry in your hand. So that is something that is like a perfect Reno target. You just Reno that shit, and then you put a lot of tokens in the front. You get 2 battle cries in your hand. Every time 3 things die, you get a lot of money and you power level like crazy. Champion of Yasharaj, I think, is depicted here, right? Yeah. Whenever a friendly taunt minion is attacked, gain +1/+2 permanently. Wait, they buffed this? Or was it 1/1 before? I think it was 1/1 before, right? But I think it got buffed to +1/2, because the golden one is now 2/4, and it was never +4/+4, right? Oh, wow, that's a huge buff. Because I was already kind of okay playing this card back in the day, but then again, I was a taunt comp enjoyer. Baby Crush. Oh, fuck my life, dude. You guys don't need to know what this does. Don't buy this card. Nobody ever buy this card. This is the spawn of Satan, guys. Whenever this attacks, it doesn't have to overkill, doesn't have to survive. Summon an 8/8 Devil Sar to attack the target first. If the Devil Sar kills the target, the Baby Crush just chills on 6 HP. So what happens is, whenever anyone triples into this early, you take 15 damage. It's so annoying. Why is this card back? I was so happy that it was gone. Imagine when you comboed with Banana. See, that's not necessarily that big of an issue because that's like a late game build, and Baby Crush falls off a cliff in the late game. Baby Crush is really a unit that is designed to make you mauled from turns 7 to 9. Now, if you golden it, and especially with Mama Bears on your board, you can keep it on the board. Okay, Cyborg Drake, tier 5, 2/10, Divine Shield. Your Divine Shield minions have +8 attack. And then Grease Spot, that's a tier 4 though. No, they reworked it. It's a tier 6 again. Oh, come on. It's the same thing as that made the Grease Spot meta. Oh, but it's a 1/4 now. Okay, it's not a 3/6. Okay, hang on. It's a 1/4. But still, oh man. For anyone who wasn't around for this, we called it the grease spot meta. Like just that. Because if grease spot scales itself, you just get too much value of playing just multiple grease spots as well. I don't think it's necessarily the same meta because, you know, like it's mentioned in the chat, tier 5 is now more expensive. It's much harder to triple into 6 drops. So that's why we're going to use Zerus and get this on tier 2, like I did back in the day in the quest meta. That was so unfair. It's probably not going to break the game, question mark? But we're going to have to see. It's pretty annoying to triple into 6 drops. You guys hear me say that all the time during the game. It's so annoying to go to tier 5 for like 10 gold, then sell 2 or 3 units off your board, then buy the... It's so slow, right? And if you can't triple into early 6 drops, then the grease spot value goes down a lot because this is something that is oppressive when you can triple into it early because it gets 2/2 per turn and it's Divine Shield. Murozond change is great. You now can no longer farm golden minions with Murozond Rylak. It still pains me that they're changing literally every other minion except Rylak, but you know, Rylak is their baby, right? I always use this meme of Gordon Ramsay where he's berating, right? He's looking at Murozond, like, Murozond, you call that a fucking steak? This is awful. And then they look at Rylak, oh poor, oh darling, oh it's fine, oh you tried, it's okay, right? It's just, they're just killing everything except the Rylak, which is hilarious. Yeah, oh my god, you're right. We still have the same Scrap Scraper utility drone. And then quests are returning to Battlegrounds, which is probably the biggest change, but that's for July 11th, so that's not in yet. Which is great, because I freaking love quests. I could play months and months of quests on end. Wow, okay, that is a big patch. Clip it and ship it, boys. Clip it and ship it.